I am here with the lovely Hannah, and I'm excited to dive into this conversation. I think you guys are going to love it. So I will pass the baton over to Hannah and let her tell a little bit about herself before we get going.
Hello, I'm so excited for this. My name is Hannah. I am the owner and solo beauty pro of the Beauty Tavern. I am based out of Mesa, Arizona. I'm about to hit 4 years in business this August, so I'm really excited. I can't believe that 4 years has gone by already, but here we are. It went by really fast. And yeah, I am married. I have two fur babies. They're like the little gremlins that are just so cute. And that is my life. That's me.
So much. So we are here today to talk, of course, about brows and all of that. Me and Hannah have been friends on social media for a little while now. We followed each other. And I feel like we have very similar vibes. First and foremost, obsessed with your space. It's so sneaking cute. I told Hannah before we started, I was stalking her page a little bit and I saw like a little blurb, like little list about you, and I saw that you got your inspo from Harry Potter for your space, and I have a Harry Potter tattoo. I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, so tell me a little bit more about that because I have dying to hear.
Okay, so as a kid, of course, grew up reading Harry Potter. I've seen the movies a million times over, and I've always just been so onto the magic and the whimsical fantasy stuff. So when I first opened my business, I was like, okay, I know that it's very much like a clean aesthetic, or people have like white and pink, and I think I originally tried doing that because I thought that that's what I needed to do. And then one day I was just like, this is just not me. I'm trying to do something that really doesn't resonate. And I also have a big leg piece, Harry Potter themed. I'm like,
I love that.
we gotta lean in. Yeah, I really tried to channel Hogwarts as a whole with their like gallery walls and stuff, and then also drew inspiration from the Haunted Mansion. So magic,
Oh, I love
spooky,
that.
dark vibes. Yeah, I just had to roll with it. And here we are.
Oh my god, that's so cute. I literally love that so much. Honestly, your gallery wall, that totally tracks. It
Oh
like
my
is so
gosh.
perfect.
And it's all like skeletons, and there's like sirens and witches and stuff on it. I have like little Harry Potter keys too.
Oh
So
my god, I literally
every
love it.
time I feel like people come in, they're all, did you put new artwork up? I'm all, no, but I love that you're noticing new things every time you come in.
My gallery wall is nothing like yours puts mine to shame. But I have the same thing. People will come in and I'm like, did you do something different? And I'm like,
Girl, what are you
no, I'm
talking
pretty sure it's been the
about?
same, but like thanks for noticing.
Honestly,
I
I
have like a
love it.
really I have a
Mm.
big canvas that I painted, and it was honestly, it's really funny. It was just because I was in a rush to get into like the new space, and I just finished painting, and I was like, I want something big here, but I'm not really sure what yet, and I just threw it up, and I had clients sign it, and I had a girl come the other day, and she was like, "Is this everybody who helped with the painting?" And I was like,
You're
I
not
should tell
really,
more people to
but
sign it, because no, that's not what that is. It's cute. It's a cute idea.
that really is a good idea. Honestly, you're like, it takes a village. So,
Right?
oh,
No,
I
it's
love
so
that.
funny though, like how little they pick up on, especially in the brow world. Our appointments are so quick. I feel like, well, I mean, aside from
Yeah.
permanent makeup, but even then, they're not. It's not like they're looking around through that long
No,
appointment.
eyes are closed.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So I know we've spoken recently about your business. Currently, you're kind of in a realm of transition. Me personally, I've been niched down to brows for a few years now, but that's kind of where you're moving. So I wanted to
Mhm.
talk about that. I know that transition can be tricky and kind of difficult emotionally and, mentally and everything.
Mhm.
So let's get into it. How's that going for you?
Okay, so I am still in the midst of everything. I essentially have been wanting to move away from body waxing. I That was my first love. I first started working in the industry at European Wax Center. So of course I feel like
Okay,
that's where
okay.
everybody gets their like feet in the, you know what I mean, like dip their toes in the
Yeah.
sand kind of a thing. But when I opened my business, I knew body waxing is like my bread and butter. I do it quickly, I do it well. I know you're gonna get results. But over time, I just have really been wanting to focus more on the eyebrow side of things. It's so much fun. It's so satisfying. Like,
Yeah.
I love the instant gratification that just comes with hair removal as a whole. But,
That's a good point.
you
Yeah.
know, I wanted to do facials when I started going to school, and then I learned
Same
very
here.
quickly this is just not the vibe. I don't shut up during appointments, so there wouldn't be a relaxing facial. Just trying to dermaplane somebody as you're like chomping their ear off. I'm all, wait, don't respond. Let me get your upper lip. Like, so it just was
Oof.
not a vibe. So now we're like really trying to stay true to the overall vision, I guess, of having my
Yeah.
business. Yeah, I'm in the midst of it. I'm kind of doing it in phases. It's been
Okay.
a learning curve. It's nerve-wracking. I mean, I've been open for almost 4 years and I built my business from the ground up. I had like 2 people that came with me from European Wax Center.
I love
So
that.
now, I mean,
You
and it's so
literally started
rewarding.
fresh. Yeah.
Literally nobody. And I'm so glad I did it this way, but I'm also like, it hurt because I want to make sure I have all these people still and I've built these awesome relationships with all of them. But again, I need to do what's the point in owning our business if you don't get to do what we want with it? So I
Amen.
am really like stepping away. My first thing I did was like cut full body waxing out.
Good.
So I was just like, all right, no more legs, no more arms, backs, all of that kind of stuff. It was strictly just like Brazilians and the different versions of bikini waxing, underarm, full butt, and just like face waxing. So that was a big jump already.
I think that's a good starting point though, because I
Yeah.
think I'm assuming here. You tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like a lot of the times people are trying to get out of the body waxing realm because it is a lot on our bodies. And I think when you
Yes.
eliminate legs and arms, you've kind of eliminated the largest portions of the body that takes the
100%.
most like extraneous work. So I feel like that was kind of a good way to like tiptoe in and be like, okay, this is what's really killing me.
Yes.
Let's scale
Yes.
back that first.
I was like, can we cuss on here? I would say we're
Yeah,
not.
yeah, go ahead.
I
Words
was like,
explicit.
I wanted to like shit myself when I was reading this stuff out because I had a handful, of course, of people. I had female and male clients. So
Yeah.
it really, I don't even know like a better way of saying it, but it weeded out a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then again, it did open up the door for more bikini waxing. So I was like, okay,
I
you
think
gain
that's a
some, you
really
lose
good point
some.
because I think that we don't notice that a lot. That I think there's so much scarcity mindset that we're like, I'm gonna
Mm,
lose this X amount of income. I'm gonna lose X amount of relationships. These
yeah.
people, I have no idea if they're gonna come back for my other services or whatever. But I think we limit ourselves and we forget that when we do that, we open the door to so many more people. And I
Yes.
think we get so trapped in that mindset. So it's a really important thing. And I love that that happened for you because I feel like there's so much like worry and concern that like that's not going to recoup, but it really does because you're aligning yourself with your people. You're
Yes.
weeding out the people that you're no longer in alignment to, which I feel like is a huge benefit to the both of you. I remember when
Mm,
I stopped doing facials, I was like, I am doing such a disservice. Like these people aren't going to be able to get. No, I'm not doing a disservice. These people are going to go to somebody who really loves skincare where they
yeah.
should be, and then they can stay
Mhm.
with me for their brows, which I love. And I
Yes.
think we forget that part of it. And I think it just is a really beautiful evolution that happens in our business.
Yeah, most definitely. I think that it might just be a pattern for me, but I get into this like, okay, make some changes. And as the ball gets rolling, things are starting to happen. I'm like, wait, pump the brakes. Like, I'm not quite ready yet. But then it's like into and it changed everything. Like, it brought so many more brow clients to me, but
Yeah.
it also brought so many more Brazilian waxing clients to me, which is at that time, I really wanted to focus on that.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, so the next phase I did implemented this after holiday season, so probably January. I started no longer pre-booking my body waxing clients and only pre-booked brow appointments. So
Okay.
I I had I'm like, okay, let's prioritize appointments and the things that I would like to be doing more long term. I
Yeah.
still have the space within my schedule to take the Brazilian waxing and do all of that, but I'm not gonna book them 2, sometimes 3 appointments out, because again, that would just limit the possibility of the brows later
Yeah.
on.
Oh, that's a great
So,
point.
how I've started it, I now only open up my body waxing schedule once a month. So, I drop it on the 20th of each month at 9 a.m. and I keep it open for about 7 days. Um, and I keep my online schedule 4 to 5 weeks open in advance. So it's like
Okay.
you look your next month's visit. These are the days that you have to choose from. It's kind of like a first come, first serve.
Yeah.
Um, Again, doing that was really nerve-wracking because I'm so used to planning, 1, my life and
Yeah.
my work schedule 2 months, sometimes 3 months in advance, and that became really difficult. I mean, not to mention the FOMO I got from not being able to do some things, right? I was like,
Yeah.
"Okay, like, I love what I do, and I'm so grateful for my business, but I can't go and do some of this fun stuff because I've secured my schedule for 2 months out, right?" So now I'm like,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're, like, changing all that." But yeah, that is the phase that I'm in right now. And it's worked out really well. Don't get me wrong. There have been a few people that I haven't seen but I still see them on Instagram and everything. So I'm like, I had told them just to kind of try to set them up for everything. Like, look, it might become very limited with my schedule, but here's 1, 2, 3 service providers that I fully trust and know that you
I
can
think
go to
that's
and get a
all it
great
really needs
service.
is just setting it up to have that. I think that honestly, I feel like my biggest thing is that our industry is so attached emotionally, and I think that's what makes our decisions a lot harder than somebody at like
Yes.
Amazon or Google. Like they're not building really strong connections with their customers; they're just trying to get customer acquisition, right?
Yeah.
We are in the trenches with our clients. Like we know so much about them. We're doing these intimate services. It's a lot harder to sever ties.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's going to be the outliers that are, disrespectful or, you're ready to end that relationship. But honestly, I
Mm,
feel like if you're doing your business appropriately and what aligns like with you ethically and everything, most of the time that's rare,
yes.
thankfully. And so it's really hard to like end these relationships. I totally understand the like feeling like you're doing a disservice to them or you're leaving them hanging. But what you're doing by providing those service providers and giving recommendations and giving a lot of warning ahead of time and everything, I feel like is honestly the best way you can take care of them and you at the same
Mm,
time.
yeah. I mean, I still hurts my heart a little
Yeah.
bit, but yeah, I think I mean, the couple of people that I've referred them to, I mean, I've been following them on Instagram for a while and I may not have gotten a service from them personally, or there has been someone in my building, right? Her and I opened our businesses literally within a week of each other.
Oh, I
And
love
we've
that.
grown together and we refer clients to each other all the time. We trade our own waxing and things like that. And
Yeah.
then she's always my number one. So I'm like, I'm all shameless plug, butterfly wax and beauty.
Right.
She's literally amazing. So it's like I know they're in good hands, but yeah, because I have been with them for so long, it's like I swear I'm not like breaking up with you or anything. Like we could keep in contact.
Well, you're just like we're like it's not personal, even though it feels personal. Like this is a
Yeah.
business at the end of the day, and like you said, like we who wants to go to a business that they don't like? Like
No,
I mean, the
100%.
whole reason that we're small business owners is that we want to create. I feel like there's like the we get put in this box like I just want to be able to control my schedule. It's like no, I want to be able to control everything. I want to be able to
Yeah.
control like what I'm doing day to day. And I just think the other thing that is really important for our industry specifically, and honestly any small business, I feel like is like retaining that passion and excitement. And the second
Hmm.
you start feeling out of alignment, you have to let things go.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just feel like it's not. You're incapable of being successful at that point. Like you're
Yeah.
pigeonholing yourself and making it harder on yourself when you're not doing what you love.
I really agree with that, but I also think it shows up in the results that you're giving them. Like
Yeah.
I wasn't necessarily getting lazy, but I could feel myself like, I mean, yeah, I'm like rip a leg, rip
Yeah,
strip for good.
100%.
But it definitely is like I just if I had a full day or majority of my clients were body waxing, I was like, okay, I cannot wait to see these clients of mine. One, because they're amazing, but also I'm like, okay, have to prepare myself because it's not exactly what I would love to be doing
Yeah,
every single day after. So yeah,
totally.
it's you almost have to like mentally prepare yourself a little bit, but
Yeah, no,
it's just how it
absolutely.
rolls, honestly. But yeah, so now I'm like need to move locations.
Okay, that's
I
big.
haven't like dropped the bomb on everybody yet, but I am planning on moving locations. It's not very far from where I'm at right now. It's like 10 minutes
Yeah, I
down the
love that.
way, but I'm really excited because I'm going to be moving into it's like a smaller salon suite type situation. And the two girls that opened it are my clients. They do lashes. They've been like,
That.
come there with us, please. And all right, it's time.
Yeah. Oh
So
my god, it couldn't
I'm
be any
so
better.
excited. I'm really looking forward to it. And there's a lot of change that's gonna come with that. I mean, like one, my overhead, right? I of
Yeah.
course that's always a great perk, but I get to be around so many more people that I do talk to already and kind of like the camaraderie of it all. I
Yeah.
just am craving this community and other women to really work with, and whether that's like referring people to each other or hosting events and stuff. I can't do that in this salon suite situation because
I
there's
was gonna say,
50
can you
rooms.
explain kind of like where you're at? Like where is your business
So
located?
so my building is inside a large shopping center. There's like a
Okay.
Walmart, Joann's, it's massive. It's called Mesa Riverview. I'm right next to Bass Pro Shop. It's a pretty big shopping center, but my building is called Salon Boutique. And there's 50 individual suites.
Oh my
So
gosh.
it's a large
Okay.
space. And I've been
Yeah.
here since I opened. Like I was in the beginning for 2 years. I was in a suite down the hallway, and it was a little smaller than the one I'm in now. And then moved into this one. I don't even know the square footage difference, but it's a little larger. But it's been cool knowing that I can like grow within the building. There are rooms larger than my own as well if I wanted to move into something like that. I talked to a handful of people in here and I do really enjoy it, but I'm itching for change. I'm itching for like
Yeah.
a different kind of routine, and it just keeps falling into place with these girls that open up their small
I love
salon
that.
suite space. So I'm like, you know what? No better time than now. So I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, I'm hoping to be taking clients in there by August. So
Okay.
about a couple of months, it's almost there. So it's
Yay.
Beauty Tavern 3.0.
Yeah.
And by the end of this year, I'll probably go into like my next phase of weeding out some more body waxing. So
Yay.
it's
Do you
pretty
think
cool.
you'll be like a little less isolated in the new space than you are now?
Yes.
'Cause
Oh
that's
my
a
gosh,
huge
yes.
problem with being a solopreneur, like a solo SD. It's hard being
Is it?
completely isolated by yourself. And I know I have a very like severe attachment to my salon suite space
Mm,
because I just feel like I love when I can have a little extra time. I can just walk out to the front and like hang out with the girls doing hair.
yeah, for
And
sure.
I just feel like as much as there's a draw to like having your own space, completely its own entity and all like your own building or whatever, or part of like a larger strip or whatever it is, I just will be like, I'm like completely alone here. Like it's
Yeah.
hard. It's
And even
isolating.
though you will go and like talk to the girls that do hair in the front, or like I'll go and talk to the few people that I speak to in here, I don't always get to do that. I'll like walk around the hallway like, who's here today? And I'm like, oh, either
Yeah.
they're with clients or they're just like here.
Yeah.
So now with these girls, there's only 5 rooms. So
Okay. I love
2
that.
do lashes, 1 does skin, and then another does nails. And I know 3 of the 4 personally.
Yay.
So
Oh my
I'm
god, it's
like,
gonna be so
oh,
fun.
yes. And they will like pop into, I mean, obviously it's different when you're doing body waxing, doors lock,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
they'll, I really need anybody walking in on that, but they'll like pop into each other's rooms while they're with clients, like, hey, just want to say hi, and
Oh,
like the
I
break room
love
is right
that.
there. So I'm really excited just for that knit feel because it does get really lonely. I love
Yeah.
working by myself and I love all the things that come with being a solo business owner. But I think after 4 years of literally being by myself 4 or 5 days a week, I'm like, I need some sort of interaction. I'm getting really lonely. I'm like, no, we
Which
need
is
something
so funny
new.
because we work with people all day long, like you would think. But there's a
Girl.
difference between that and like other like service providers. Like it's your
Yes.
people. Like we just want
Hmm.
to be around our people who get it. Like it's the
Yes.
same way I feel like when we go to like a trade show or something, and I'm like, I come out so energized. My husband's like, what the hell? And I'm just like, I've been sitting around talking to people who get it all day. Like it's such
Yes.
a different feeling. It's
It is.
awesome.
Yeah, I love being able to like chat and again have these relationships with my clients, but it is different when and I'm Side note, I'm really fortunate. I don't have really any clients that I've had issues with necessarily, like I've
Yeah.
I've gotten a pretty good group of people, but we we are their therapist, right?
Yeah.
Like unlicensed therapist
We
essentially.
take on a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And sometimes I have to I love being that person for somebody to confide in. I think I've always been a good ear to people, but sometimes I'm like, okay, picture a hamster ball. So none of their stuff comes onto me because I don't want to take that home.
Yes.
But it is nice being able, like, on a lunch go, okay, girl, what has happened with you today? And just
Yeah.
saw it together,
Is it
So
just me dealing with this
yeah.
today? Like, is there something in the air?
Exactly, exactly. So I
No,
think it
I
would be good for
totally agree.
everybody involved.
Right.
It'd be fun.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so we've kind of talked about how you're weeding out the services that don't align with you anymore.
Mm.
But in the flip side of that, what are the services that you're really wanting to be more in alignment with? What are you excited to be offering? Like, what does niching down to just more brows look like to you?
Okay, so I mean, I love my maintenance cleanup girlies. Those are just always so fun. I love a good lamination. I mean, I'm a lammy girly. I think I'm just really excited to be doing all the brow services that I already offer, but
Yeah,
on a
all the
larger
time.
scale, Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I'm really excited to just be able to dedicate more time to the laminations and the tinting, but also I've been wanting to focus more on permanent makeup. And
Okay.
I've taken a handful of trainings, and every time I come out of one, I'm just like, yeah, let's go. Like, so stoked. And I'm really proud of the progress that I've made in my skill set, too. I've recently, I want to say it was October of last year, I trained in nano brows. So hair stroke, but with the machine. So it's a completely different technique. And I've been having so much fun with that. And I would just really like to be more available for permanent makeup in general. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. It's just so fun. I love the transformations I get to give these people, whether they just have sparse growth or they have no brows. Like I just want to be able to lay hands and bless faces. So
I
I'm really
love
excited for
that.
that.
So, you said that you just took that course. So, were you doing solely the manual microblading beforehand, before the
Yeah,
nano?
so I've taken a couple of microblading courses and then I've done a powder brow course as well. So that's mainly what I was doing for a while. And then it had been about a year and a half since I had taken a course. So then I did nano. I love the microblading. It is so much fun. It's so different, even though you get a
Yeah.
very, you get the hair strokes, right? But it's a totally different technique. It takes so much patience, and I am an impatient person, so I'm really tested. But it allows me to really just, hone in on what I'm doing and just be
Slow
tunnel
down a
vision
little
for a little
bit.
bit and slow down. Yeah, it goes a long way. So, yeah, I was doing more microblading. I'm still offering it. I'm not necessarily offering a full powder brow anymore. I like being able to provide a shading option, whether it's like combination brow, hair strokes in the front and the rest shaded, or full hair strokes with shading in between them. I love being able to do both. But powder brow by itself is just not my jam.
Okay, I was
So
gonna say, so what is it about powder brow? Because I feel like, from what I'm seeing, because I'm kind of like a novice here. I did microblading training years and years ago. I have
mm,
no fresh. I don't do it. Don't offer it. So I'm kind of completely on the outside here. So I
yeah.
love a little explanation.
Okay, so powder brow or an ombre brow, right? It's the same thing. But
Yeah.
I'm all the same thing, different names, but it's a fully shaded brow. So you're using this machine to build up pixels of pigment
Okay.
behind the hairs, and it gives you a more filled in look. So if you want it to be more like makeup,
Yeah.
I
Like
have
a
this girl
hybrid
that
tint.
was coming to me. Yeah, she was coming to me for like a brow sculpt and hybrid tint every 2.5, 3 weeks. And I was like, look, as much as I love that you're wanting to spend that with me and trust me to do that every 3 weeks, you're gonna get more longevity out of something more shaded, you know? So, she now only gets brow waxes because we did the pattern brow on her. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a more filled in look. You can go like super soft and natural, or you can go more heavy and do heavy, you know what I mean? Like it's more
Yeah, yeah.
filled in with makeup. So that's what you can do. I mean, it really does vary based on what people want, but I like it. I just don't think I'm here for the hairs. I'm here for the fluffy, the texture, you know. So I
So
can't
it's just more like a
necessarily
personal
get
or
that.
like personal preference. You just kind of like
Yeah.
I love that because I feel
Yeah.
like that's how we find our niche. That's how we find our specialty. Like that's when it aligns with you. I think there's an element. I think if you own a business, there's an element of sales that happens. We have to sell
Mhm.
our services, we have to sell ourselves and everything. And I think that it's a lot easier and it doesn't feel like selling or advertising if it's what we love.
Yeah,
So I
100%.
think that I love that because I could see that style of brow being really difficult for you to advertise and love because you're just like, I wouldn't get it, but you guys should. Like, that's a
Yeah.
weird thing to advertise, you know? I think it's
Yes.
really nice to be able to be like, I would love this. If I could tattoo myself, I would. Like, come
Mhm.
get this done. Like, I just think it comes out a little bit easier. You're more passionate about it. And I just
Yes.
think it translates better to the client.
It does, and it translates better in the work that you're putting in
Yeah,
their
that's a really
face,
good
you know?
point.
Like,
Yeah.
I if somebody is like I had someone recently, she booked I offer 30-minute brow consultations for people that are interested in permanent makeup, but didn't DM me or they just kind of want to see what I could do. I offer the 30-minute appointment. I had someone come in. I had never met her before. And she had previously microbladed brows. And while, yes, you can work over that, she was telling me she wanted something more filled in and shaded. And I was like, I love that idea. I would love to be the one to do that for you, but I can't 100% sit here and say that have 100% confidence in giving that to you because it's just not what I love. I'm happy to
Yeah.
give you these like millions of other people that I follow that do beautiful powder brows, but I can't, how do you say it? It's just not my specialty. So if
Yeah.
that's what you're
No,
wanting, I
I
would
love
rather
that.
give you to someone else. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all give me the fluffy hair strokes. Like I just want to fluff some faces up.
I love that.
And I'm just like itching for more. So
Yes.
really excited
Do
for
you
it.
think that you're able to get more of that, like, true fluffy look with the Nano versus the regular microblading, or do you think you can get the same results with both? Like, how does that differ?
You can get result. Not the same, but it's very similar. Like, the only thing is with Nano, because it's with a single needle and not like a blade that has 18 tiny little needles in it, right? In the blade. Um, you can crisscross hairs in Nano and you can like add
Oh.
little textured pieces in here and there. So I think it gives you a little more creative freedom for sure with the Nano, whereas the microblading, you can't cross hairs because you're cutting into the skin, right? So if you were to try to like give them a little crisscross hair, it would just
Yeah.
blow out and blur together over time. So it's just like you do have
Yeah.
a little more freedom, I think, with Nano, but you can
I
still get
never
a
thought about
beautiful
that.
fluffy result with the microblading.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
That's
such a good
fun.
point. I guess so I did the microblading when I did the training, so I think that then I think of all of it the same. But I totally don't even
Mm,
I never even thought about how the machine work is not
yeah.
as like open, I guess you could say. Like the wound itself isn't as open as the
Yes.
blade.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, you're just building up teeny little pixels of pigment to create a hair stroke. Yeah, it does give you a little more freedom. And I also think with I don't know, like maybe it's just because I love a full, more natural brow. I am not the person if somebody comes in, they're like, I want thin eyebrows. I'm all,
Yeah.
let's talk about this. So I'm not necessarily trying to sway people into me not waxing their eyebrows. Like, think long term, right? As we get older, we're going to lose hair. So why get rid of them now at this
That's
age?
a good argument,
You know,
honestly,
I'm
because that's
like,
a
please don't
difficult
make me do
conversation.
it. I've had people that I'm like, please don't make me do that to you. I mean, I'll do it and I will like, we can talk about the mapping in a moment because I know I'm so into all the mapping conversations you have, but I'm all, let's map this. make sure you're good with what you see before I go ripping out a bunch of
Yeah.
hair that's gonna take a long time to grow
Yes.
back.
That's how I feel about the tail removal when they're like want more lift and they're removing that. I'm like, oh,
Mm,
honey,
I
if you
have
knew the amount of tails I've
one
had to grow
person.
back.
My gosh, no, seriously. I literally only have one person that I will do that on, and she was like, "Hannah, I am a wildebeest. I grow a ton of hair. I am not worried about it not growing back." And I was like, "Okay, girl,
Yeah.
let's do it." I was
No,
like, "But I'm not
absolutely.
about to
It's
willy-nilly
so
do
funny.
it."
I feel like I'm the same way. I'm like, I will everything in moderation. Like, I want to get to know you. I want to see you for a while. I want to see your hair growth pattern before we're making any crazy decisions
Yes.
or changes or whatever. Like,
Yes.
I'm not that artist.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that just being somebody that loves to enhance a natural
Yeah.
baby steps, please. So it's funny with like microblading, right? When I want to give the most natural kind of result, and not necessarily natural in the way of like it's barely there, but more so I don't know, you probably had a similar teaching at your trainings, but they all teach a very
Honestly,
what is
that was the
that? Like
biggest turnoff. That was the biggest turnoff I had to brown
same.
and cosmetics because at the time when I took the training and that's what I was trying to get into, it was the fibrow. Do you remember fibrow and how popular it used to be?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all
Insane.
anyone did. It was the exact same pattern.
On
Everything looked
everyone.
identical on everyone.
Oh,
And I have been this way since I first started brows. I hate a cookie cutter brow.
is
I
it?
hate it. I want everyone to look different. I want everyone to
Yeah.
have their own unique spin. Even though we're getting a general guideline, I don't want literal carbon copies. And that's what it was like.
100%. I was just like, in what world do our eyebrows all grow?
Hey, it's Emily here from Brow Fox Beauty. I'm so proud to be sponsoring this episode of Brow Education. If you are new here, let me tell you a little bit about Brow Fox Beauty. We are a professional brow line for the esthetician. We specialize in easy retail for the busy esthetician. We also have a line of better back bar basics so you can be super confident putting pre and post wax solution and massage oil onto your client's skin, giving them the best glow and the best brows yet. You can find more information at browfoxbeauty.com or on social media at browfoxbeauty.
Do our eyebrows all grow same direction, all very like
Yes.
ding ding ding, and then this
Well, and
way.
talk about conflicting information. I remember being told regularly follow the natural hair pattern, but do it in this way. And I'm like, but we're not doing that. We're not following the natural pattern at all. This is so confusing.
Yes, it really is. And I had taken straight out of SD school a microblading course, and it was the very typical pattern. It was only one pattern that they taught me, and I was just like, I found myself quite literally not being able to even do it on practice skin. And I think it
Yeah.
was because I was just like, I feel really boxed in and it just didn't
Yes.
feel right. And don't get me wrong, like our hairs can all grow in or be positioned in one direction with laminations, or somebody just naturally has an all upward hair growth pattern, but it just didn't sit right with me, and I honestly, I gave up
And
on
it's
it for a
rare, I feel
while.
like. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you
I think
don't
the
see it.
reasoning that lamination became so popular is that the hairs are not sitting how we want them to. And even if
Mhm.
one brow does, the other probably has a cowlick. I feel like I see that a
Yeah.
lot. One brow sits really nicely, the other one has a crazy cowlick. So it's like,
Yes.
even if one looks good, the other doesn't. That pigeonholes you as a permanent cosmetic artist if you're like, well,
Yeah.
what am I doing here then? Because that's
Yeah, no,
contradicting
100%.
what I was taught.
My gosh, and I could practice, and I would practice and practice and practice, and I was like, "It's just not clicking." And the same, trainer that I went to this past October for Nano, I trained with her, I wanna say 2 years prior, um and I took a beginner's microblading course again. So I was just like, I want to learn from her perspective because don't get me wrong, you're getting all the fundamentals how you're supposed to, but she didn't necessarily teach you a strict pattern. She was just like, stare at this person's eyebrow and figure what their growth is. You can do all upward. You can do like fluffy and upward only in the front and something more clean in the body of it, and I was
I
just
love
like,
that.
she just changed everything for me. So
Like
now
that
when I'm
light bulb
doing it,
moment.
yeah, and I was like, why did it take so damn long to get this freaking light bulb on? But it took this one trainer
No, it
from you.
does.
She was like literally fantastic. Her name is Vanessa, and she's in Tucson, so about 2 hours from me. But my gosh, it was saying the difference that I felt leaving there. I was like, I can actually do this now. So it's cool. I've done a lot of like the fluffier brows, but then now I'm seeing myself do something more clean and like precise from a wait, who is she? But I think it took me being able to channel a lot more of the like creative and artistic side of it to be comfortable and okay with doing something so
It's fun.
strategic.
I feel like it feels backwards sometimes, but you have to figure out your learning pattern, right? You have
Yeah.
to figure out maybe you being more artsy and creative in the styling made it easier for your mind to understand what you're actually technically doing. And then
Yes.
everything else gets unlocked and it becomes a lot clearer. This
Yeah.
is why I like preach continuing education, because I just feel like one thing is never enough. And not only, I mean, in comparison, even chatting with you right now, I learned, I don't know, 7 years ago or something like that. Like it was a long time ago that I learned microblading.
Mm,
And hearing what you're talking about, it's compared like two different planets. Like these are
yes.
not the same types of information or
And
styles of training at all. So it's like
yeah.
I mean, if you're wanting longevity in the industry, if you're wanting longevity with a treatment, if you're whatever, you have to keep learning. And then
Oh my God.
sometimes it'll lead to this magical
Eh,
light bulb moment where you're like, holy shit, I was about to throw the towel. And now I'm like
yeah.
fired up and ready to go.
That is so real. I mean, for so long, I was like, I just can't do it. It didn't feel right. But still, a part of me wanted to keep doing permanent makeup. But it was, I think part of it is also imposter syndrome. Don't even get me started.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, okay, try to give it one more shot. And that one more shot was that course that made me realize, like, okay, I can do so much more with this than I originally thought that I could. So it feels really good. I'm excited to go down this like permanent makeup venture.
I love it.
So cool. I really liked what I can create with both techniques and now combining two hair strokes and shading.
Yeah.
I mean, you can make a totally custom eyebrow. So it's really cool to be
Yeah.
able to do that. A lot of
I
fun.
love it. I love hearing your passion for it too. I just like it's so crazy that like this could have been something that you were just like, I'm done. And that one course really changed the game for you. And I just think that reiterates the power of education and just like
Yeah.
sticking through it. Like, don't stick with stuff that doesn't feel aligned, but obviously there was something there that you were like, I'm not done with you yet. And I love
Mhm.
like pushing that limit just a smidge more. Like, let's just try one more thing. And then
Oh
if it
yeah.
doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I just
Yeah.
love that. I think that's what makes people more successful.
You know, I literally cried leaving and it was happy tears, right? But I think it was like the first or second day because I believe it was a 3 or 4 day beginner's training she did. I literally left on day 1 or 2 crying tears of joy in my hotel because I was just like, it like opened up Pandora's box. I was like, "Ah, yay! Okay, let's
I love
freaking
that so
roll."
much.
It was the best feeling. So now we just kind of like chase that and keep
Yeah.
hoping that it continues happening, but it's a fun
Oh, I
time.
love that so much. I swear, I think if you get to a certain point in your career, there's a handful of those moments that get sprinkled in where you're just like, yes, that is
Mhm.
fucking it. This is why I'm here. This is what I was meant to do. And they like
Yes.
honestly, they just like hold such a special spot in my heart. I'm like obsessed. I love that. I feel like I see your passion just following you. Like
Oh, stop it.
honestly, if I had to like list what you do, I'm like, oh, she does permanent cosmetics. Like that's what comes to mind first
Oh,
because
I
I feel
love
like you're
that.
so excited about it. You can see I don't know, there's a little more inklings of passion behind it than anything
Thank
else. Like when
you.
you talk about it, you light up. And I just love people following that path, because it's hard
Mm,
to do. It's a scary thing to do. And I'm just like,
it is.
commend anyone and everyone that's willing
Oh
to
my
stick
god.
with it.
Oh, stop it. But don't stop it. That is literally the most validating thing ever. I'm just like, thank you for saying it, but also thank you for noticing because it really does excite me. And like, I think it all stems from me having really bad brow experiences as a kid. Like
Yes.
before my sister is a licensed esthetician in California as well.
Oh,
And she thankfully was the one that started doing my brows as I got older, and I was just like, "Hey, she'll never do me wrong." But before I would like, botch, I had half of my damn eyebrow ripped off at like nail salons and stuff. I feel like
Yep.
a lot of the excitement and the passion really does come from wanting to make sure that people don't get jacked up the same way I did so long
Preaching
ago.
to the brow artist choir. We're all like, stop hurting these people.
Literally.
We've all had that moment of crying in the car
Yeah.
after and being like,
It's so
where did we get
real.
lost in communication here? Like, this is awful.
Dude, and honestly, it's like I've been botched. Don't get me wrong, I've been botched by threading. I've been botched by sock wax. I've been botched by,
Yeah, let's not
and
put it in a box.
oh my gosh, it's like
Any
literally
artist can do things
anybody.
incorrectly. Yeah.
Anybody. And I do think that one, it's a lack of education, but it's
Yeah.
also just like, I think a lot of people just think like they, they just go in with no plan. And
Yes.
if you need to change, or even if you're not trying to completely change your shape, you need to have a plan in place for every single
Yeah.
person, like before things go awry. So
Yeah.
I think all of
Taking
it's
a good
very
30 seconds to a minute to like look at their eyebrows before going
yes,
in is really important.
yes,
I think the other thing is lack of communication. I know when I was an earlier artist, it was scary to talk to these people that you're terrified. You're like, I'm gonna fuck her eyebrows up. I'm gonna do something wrong. Like, I remember going into every service and being like a new client was terrifying. I was like,
yeah,
I don't know this person. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, just hoping for the best. And of course, you grow with your confidence builds and everything gets better. But I think we've all been there, and like it's so hard.
oh
It's
yeah,
just a scary thing. And then you get excited when you start building up the confidence and they come back to you and they're like, I had my brows messed up so many times until I met you. But there is like that moment of talking to them, asking them questions. That's hard to do at the
yeah,
beginning. And then as you grow as an artist, it just gets so much easier. It becomes like pivotal. Like I can't not have a conversation with you because I know that if I don't, that's where I know from years of experience, that's where I ran into issues. That's where I ran
yeah,
into problems when I was too afraid to ask you questions and clarify what you were looking for.
yeah, 100%. I think that also is why, even to this day, I'm like, less is more in the way of
Yes.
removal, right? I'm like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna like fully reshape your brow until you and I are on the same wavelength. Like, I
Yes.
need to know that you understand what I'm saying and vice versa.
Yeah, well, and then there's the other flip side of it is that what means like something to one person doesn't mean the same to the other. And I feel like the longer I've been a brow artist, the more even 3 hairs makes a difference.
Oh my
So
god, yes.
I think that they think they want an overhaul and they may not need an overhaul. And I
Yep.
think that being a good artist is knowing to like I always tell them I'm like I'm going to tiptoe here. I'm going to be super conservative and then you tell me if we want to do more. Because I can always take more away if I start small. If I go too hard, I can't put any of it
I
back.
can't give
So
it back.
I can't give it back.
Yeah. Well, then you're
I
gonna be
can't
growing out
replace
for
it.
another 8 weeks again because you were like,
Yes.
oh.
And nothing more disheartening than being like, sorry, we'll grow that spot in and we'll try again. Like,
Yeah.
what? No, it's heartbreaking.
I can't be the one to do that. I can't.
No.
Oh gosh. And I think that is literally why I keep my brow, even just the brow maintenance, right? The cleanups. I still book them for 30 minutes. It is something that I am working on, like bringing it back. Like, I'm like, okay, we could trim sometime because half of it is just like we're shooting the shit and we're talking. But
Yeah.
so I think having that 30 minutes, right? I'm like, I'm willing to take one less client in an hour because I'm like, okay, I know for a fact they're going to leave here happy. I'm not going to mess up because I'm rushing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm all, okay,
I
we're
think it's
just going to
important to know
chill.
yourself as an artist. I think we got to know our limits.
Yes.
And I feel, even to this day, I mean, my appointments are 15 minutes, and to some that's too quick, but I feel like there's also the, like, you get to a comfort zone, and I don't want to be
Yeah.
wasting my time or theirs. And I want to, if I have a complaint of people not being able to get in, I want to be able to get more people in.
Yes.
So there's that side of it, but there's also the side of understanding what you need. When if I feel rushed, like, I'm not going to make it my next client's problem. Like, that's a hard thing to deal with. And we want to be respectful of people's time. I do not stand with the artist that thinks their time is more important and they can do whatever the fuck they want. They can
Right.
run into the next person's appointment and make it their problem, not theirs. So I 100% agree with you. I think what we need to be more comfortable with is testing things. I think that I remember starting and I was like, no, this is how we do it. This is the only way
Yeah.
how we do it. Like, I'm terrified to do anything else, but I think it's a disservice to you and your business. I think we have to
Mhm.
test things and see what works. When I first started out, my previous job made me do 30-minute appointments, and I was
Okay.
always sitting around with a bunch of extra time. So it was my like almost rebellion when I opened my own spot to go to 15. And then
Mhm.
COVID hit, and I had to add extra time for, a little bit extra sanitation to give everyone peace of mind. Not that we weren't doing the right thing, but I know that
Yeah,
we all went. I go harder now because of COVID, just because of
for
that
sure.
little bit. So I bumped it up to 20 minutes. So I give myself an extra 5. And then more recently, I've been like, I got used to that, and I can like now go back to 15. But I feel like the fact that I've ebbed and flowed that much over time is important, and I think that
Mhm.
we just have to find what works for us.
Yeah, and I think part of it, I mean, at least from my perspective, you probably now because you're exclusively threading pretty much, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't have the downtime of waiting for the hard wax to cool and remove and
Nope.
grabbing like applying the soft wax, getting the paper, removing it. You know what I mean? So
And
I
you guys are
think
moving around
that
a little bit more, I think, with waxing. You're having to go
yeah,
back to your pot unless your pot's sitting next to their head. Like, you have to be
right.
moving around more than me. Like, I have the thread literally sitting
All
next to them.
right
I can pick it
here.
up and go, and I can set it down, and I can pick it up. I can work more like a lash tech. I can work with everything right in front of me and not have to
Yeah,
turn around at all. And it sounds so silly until you've been in it for a minute to realize that those seconds add up.
makes a
And
big
it's
difference.
crazy how much absolutely, absolutely. I
Mm.
always feel like I need more time when I'm waxing than I do threading, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah. I have some people, so on my online booking system, I have it set for 20 minutes, right? So, and then I have people that I very well could get done in 10,
Yeah.
15, right? Like, and
Yes.
some of them be like, hey, I'm going somewhere after, like, can you fill me in or something? Because I don't fill in everybody's eyebrows,
Me either, and I feel
especially
like more of us need to say that.
like, don't get me wrong, I love it, and I will
Yeah.
fill them in, especially if I'm like, girl, your eyebrows, man, they just hit different. I want to put like a little bit of powder or pencil in there and take some
Absolutely.
photos, but not
Yeah.
everybody gets a fill in. I just think that
No, everybody needs it.
no, and a lot of people that have a fuller brow, it's just like, or we can just wake up and go. And I think that
Yeah.
is why I like to try to keep it as natural as possible because it
Yes.
looks more complete. But
Absolutely.
I have handfuls of clients. I'm like, okay, one, I know we're gonna be shooting the shit for so
Yes.
long. I'm extending this to the normal 30 that I usually do
Yeah.
because I also know that we're just gonna be like bouncing off of each other as other people. I'm like, we get their life updates within the 20 minutes. They leave with a great
Yeah.
brow. I'm able to pre-book them. So it really varies there, but otherwise it automatically books as 20 if I manually go in and kind of
Yeah,
like
I
adjust
manually tweak
things.
my stuff. I'm like, I know that she comes regularly for her appointments, so I won't have as much outgrowth. Like, this
Mhm.
lamination I know processes quicker. I don't need that much time. Like,
Yeah,
I fully tweak it. But I think that there's a big thing to be said with like staying connected to your schedule. I'm not a one and done girly. I don't have a
mm,
receptionist. Like, I'm gonna go through and check. And we have
everything
consent forms. We have things to double check. So I just feel like it's a good thing to stay really in tune and in touch with your calendar. I just feel like
for
that's
sure.
good business practice.
Well, and I think that as our schedules also fill up, no matter the services you if the 4 to 5 week spot that they need is not available, you really have to go through and like hunt everything down. So
Yeah,
the time that you use to book people is factored into their appointment time. So, and
absolutely.
I'm just like, again, I tend to be very like sometimes I'm talking to people at the end of an appointment, so I'm like, I need a little extra time just because I know myself.
Yeah,
But yeah,
or like
it's
the 5 minutes
totally
of peace to clean. Like, I love an extra 10 minutes after like a
yes.
longer appointment. I'm like, I'm gonna sanitize this so slow because I just want like 5 minutes to
Well, I'm gonna go
myself.
chug some water and eat some
Yeah,
pretzels as well, like, get prepared for
exactly.
the next person. It's
That's actually a
ridiculous.
good question. Are you somebody who blocks out time for your lunches, or do you run through?
I
Okay,
do
me
now.
too.
So when I first opened, I kind of was just like, nah, fine. I think it was just because I was so used to how things were European. And granted, we did get
Yeah,
scheduled breaks. I mean,
they're
they were
so
like,
short.
they were quick. And I think I
Yeah,
also had to learn because in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm going to give myself a lunch. But it was like an hour long, right? And then I was just sitting there for 20 minutes, like, I could be doing something. I just got
yes,
bored. Well, my lunch is done. I've answered DMs. I've cleaned everything up. What the hell else am I supposed to do with this? So I
yeah,
shortened it to 40 and then sometimes even 40 drag. So now that I'm lessen my hours a little bit, I give myself maybe 20, 30 minutes, but it is blocked off.
Okay.
The only
Okay.
day I don't put a lunch in are my Saturdays. I'm like,
Okay.
work me
I don't
back to
do
back
lunches
for
on
5
Saturdays
hours.
either. I'm
Let's
like, let's
go.
get going. I want out of here.
Yeah, because if that means I get to leave 30 minutes earlier without having a lunch, I'm doing
Absolutely.
it.
I'm here on a Saturday, girl. This is our weekend for
I
both of
got a
us,
freaking
okay?
pool to get to. It's 120
Yeah,
degrees out. Let's go.
absolutely. I'm like, we
Oh
both
God.
know this is a service for y'all, not for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I could do without Saturday appointments, but I'm here for it. I also don't want to
Seriously.
be here until 10 p.m. every night. So,
No, we have limits.
yes, absolutely. Okay, so before we popped on, I emailed you some questions and I just want to dive into those.
Okay.
So the first one is, what is your 2024 word for your business and why?
Okay. So I love that you asked that question, I just have to say, because my sister's best friend, um, he taught me this. He was like,
Okay.
I set a word for myself and I live by it all year long. And I was like, oh, so when you asked me that, I just got so excited. But so I set balance
Okay.
here. I have been trying to
Ooh, I
live by
like
that
that.
all year long, and it's been extremely difficult, but we're learning.
That's a tall order.
It really is. Last year mine was boundaries, and boundaries in
Okay.
business, with myself, my friendships, relationships, my family, all of it. And I had to, last year, I set some really strong boundaries with a lot of
Good for
people,
you.
and it was literally the worst, but the best thing I've ever done. Like, it was so difficult. I would like cry every day, but it had to be done. So now with balance, I'm like, I love being busy, but I need to slow down to an extent, right? Like, all of my free time is a lot of the time working on the business, and I need to be able to have friendships and do things outside of being in the suite. So,
Yes.
yeah, trying to like cut back, find a balance, and it's been really difficult, but we're doing it. I think my schedule change was like a huge factor in that. So
It's amazing what that can do alone. Just giving yourself a little more grace and more time. Yeah.
yes, it's crazy. I was like, why the hell was I like scheduling myself the same way that I was at your POX center?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's
what was
so
I
true. I held
thinking?
a pretty similar schedule when I left my previous job and first opened. I was like, we have to mimic. And I'm like, you're one person.
No,
How many
literally. I
people are
was
working
all,
there? Like,
they had a
you're not keeping the same
crew.
hours.
I'm like, oh, hell no, Hannah, we're
Absolutely.
not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, balance is my word. We're figuring it out day by day. Now, I think when you and I were originally talking about getting me on the podcast with you, it like didn't respond to you for 3 days, and I got on the page and I was like, shit, I need to message her back. Like, even sometimes on Saturdays I don't come on, but one Saturday I'm out the door. If I'm on Instagram, I'm scrolling aimlessly. I'm not looking at DMs. I'm like, I'm checked
I'm the same
out.
exact way. I'm like, ignore the green bubble.
Yes.
Okay, I
Oh
am
my
not
gosh.
here. The eyebrow goddess
Mm.
is not in.
No,
I'm
literally.
scrolling.
Oh my gosh,
I
that
am
is so real.
mindlessly thinking here. Okay.
Well, and I don't know if you've noticed this or not. So I'm logged into my business Instagram. I'm logged into my personal one. So you can like double tap, right, the profiles and it
Yeah.
switches. If you're on your personal one, it's going to show that you're available on your business.
Rude.
Yeah, so I'm always like, well, I'm not technically active. It's 1 a.m., but I'm on my personal page. I'm not on my business one. I'm still
I'm
not
like, whatever. Let
responding.
me live.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
only one person.
Literally. Well, Hannah, step back. So yeah,
Right.
now I think that was huge for me. I've just completely checked out of my Instagram while I'm off. Unless
Good
I'm
for
like
you.
doing something that I'm all, people need to see this. It's so cool. Or
Yeah, which
like,
is good and I think more fun for your followers. Like,
yes,
we want
yes,
to see the fun parts. We don't need you like drowning and trying to create content. And I think that's a big
yes.
lesson.
Oh my gosh, and content is already such a big pain in the ass, if I'm being honest. Like, I would love to have a marketing person do it all for me,
Yeah.
just because I just
It's
can't be
so
bothered.
difficult
It's a
for our
lot.
industry though. It's too much. Like our faces are so involved that even if somebody else is running the show, you still have to do all the work anyways.
100%. I'm all, okay, can we just like maybe AI my face onto somebody else?
Yes.
She can record, like, let's
I love that
Photoshop
like
me.
faceless marketing. I was like, If only.
My dogs are gonna be like the face of the Beauty Tavern next. I'm not doing this myself anymore.
Seriously. So
Oh my
true.
gosh. Yeah, it's
Okay,
a
well, this
big
kind of brings us
task.
to our next question. What is the best piece of advice you would give your younger self if you could go back?
Okay, that was probably the hardest one.
It's tricky.
It is because there's a lot of things I would say to younger
Yeah.
me.
A lot of lessons learned.
Yeah, I think honestly, it's just I think it pisses me off because I've been told this before, and I was always like, "Oh my god, I'm so tired of hearing it." But it's true. Trust the process. What
Oh,
is
it's
meant
so
for
true.
you will be. Um,
There is
trust
some
in
truth to the
yourself.
cliches.
There
I hate
really
to
is.
say it, but there
And
really is.
it makes me so mad when people would tell me that I'm like,
Like,
shut
shut up.
up. But it's so real. Like
It's true.
truly trust the process, trust in yourself and your skill set and things, even if it's a slow build, doing it authentically is way better and way more sustainable for a longer term
Especially
business, you
now in
know?
like the viral world that we live in, and I think that there's so much excitement that comes to that. And don't get me wrong, I love when my videos pop off. It's super
Mm,
exciting, but it's so true. Now that we've seen that side of it, it's like it does nothing. The
yep.
things that have done the best are what I've grown very, very, very slowly over the years. They always perform better. Like the relationships are better, the clients are better, the
Yeah.
business does better. So I wholeheartedly agree with you in that. And if we could tell any young SD, I would definitely say that
Oh my
too.
gosh, yeah. And also, like, going viral is not guaranteed. So if you're chasing it, you're not going to get anywhere with it. I mean, I have reels, I had like 3 reels pop off, and I literally was like, this is what popped off. I'm like, are you freaking serious? And it was me like
Hey, people
a
are
little
rude.
texting. Yeah,
I'm like, I don't need this in my life.
I
People
don't
are
want to go
mean.
viral.
I don't want to go
Mm-mm,
viral. It actually
mm-mm.
scares me. I feel the exact same way. And I was like, also, zero monetary benefit. I got nothing from this. Like, it didn't help me
Literally,
any way, shape, or
I
form.
literally had a reel that gained like 30,000 views at one point, and it was just me like doing that stupid sound of you like typing, right? So it just was constantly looping, and I was
That's
like,
so
okay, cool, it
funny.
got me like a jillion views, but no followers, no bookings out of it.
Yeah.
It's not actually serving you the way
No,
that you
and
need it.
the virality thing is it's so influencer based. I'm like, this has nothing to do with our business. And I
Mhm.
think it's been weirdly pushed and marketed to like everyone and their mom, but it's just like it
Yeah.
doesn't translate to us or our business. Like it actually doesn't make any sense. I had a video pop off around the same and it was my dog.
Yeah.
I was like,
Girl,
this has
okay.
nothing to do with eyebrows.
Girl, thanks for loving my fur child though. I
Yeah, I'm like, he's
appreciate
really
it.
cute. I get it.
It's so
It's
real.
so
It's
true.
so real.
There's a
I'm just
major
like
disconnect.
there really is. And like, don't get me wrong, I have videos where I'm like, there's the education ones, there's the fun ones, and then there's like I want to do some of me recommending products and things like that. But
Yeah.
I just like to just take the time and do that sometime.
And sometimes you miss your
I
window. Like
can't.
I'm
Yeah.
like for the longest time I get really like down on myself and I'm like that was a trend. We had a really good idea. Now it's gone. And I'm like whatever.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
always another one coming. Like it is
yeah,
what it
well, and I
is.
think that a lot of people like they do jump on the trends, but because everyone's doing it, it's just like, all right,
It's hyper
you know,
repetitive.
hmm
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
it's
you
a
get
little
lost in
much.
it. It's not as creative.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, what are your 3 favorite products right now? Self care, business, brows, whatever.
Mm, okay, so my first one right now is my Kindle Paperwhite. That baby comes
Girl,
with me
preach.
everywhere. I
I literally
swear
could
to
not live
you,
without mine.
it is like my new personality. I am a Kindle girly through and through. I don't even care. Don't get me
Is
wrong.
yours not creative?
No, it isn't. I haven't done that, but
Okay.
I've been wanting to. I think I just all my stickers are on my water bottles. So I'm like, okay, we're
Okay.
not gonna put on the Kindle. But yeah,
I respect that.
that thing is like attached at the hip. It's ridiculous. It's like another child. So my Kindle for sure. I think just living in Arizona, I deal with a lot of dry skin, dry scalp kind of a thing. So
Okay, yeah.
I have really been using it's called Thero Blue hair and body oil. It's from the brand Coat of
Ooh.
Harmony. They're based out of Long
Oh,
Beach.
I've
Female
heard of
of
them. Yeah.
okay, literally love all of their stuff, but this hair and body oil is the only thing that has truly made my scalp not feel like I want to scratch it till it bleeds, because
Okay, I'm trying it.
summers
You're
are
gonna have to
dry as
thank me after.
hell. Gosh, yeah, I'll send it to you. It's so good. But
That sounds
I mean,
amazing.
Coat of Harmony products are fantastic to begin with, literally all of them. But this hair oil, I don't even use it in the body, but I use it in my scalp and everything. On a wash day, I'll literally put it everywhere and I'll have my hair slicked
Love
back at
it.
work. And then when I take a
Yeah.
shower, I'm like, God, sweet relief. So that
Do you
is
use
number
it with your
two.
curls at all? Because I know you've got really pretty, like, natural
Yeah.
curls.
So when I do like my full curl routine and I need to like break the cast, I'll use that because it also just smells delish.
Does it?
So it's
Okay.
so
We're
good.
gonna
So,
tag it in the show notes, babes. Don't worry about it.
oh my
We're
God, yeah.
really pushing this.
Girl,
Everyone's
you
gonna be
need
like, where's the
to. I'm
link?
all, give me an affiliate code, please.
Yeah, right.
I, it's literally so freaking good. And I dermaplane myself as well. So I'll put it on my
Okay.
face for me to like oil dermaplane, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I love
it
it.
is so good. And then the third one, I would say my current brow gel.
Ooh.
I swear by this brow gel, and it kills me because I don't like to use a lot of like luxury brand makeup. Urban Decay. It's the Slick Day brow gel. It's a long
Okay.
ass name, but it's Slick Day. The black tube with a purple lid. When I
Okay.
tell you my hairs don't move, I have it in right now, and these babies are going to be secure to like 10 p.m. tonight. Granted, my hairs are laminated right now, but even as my lamination falls, the best thing ever.
Okay,
So
with the
good.
hair gel, I have to ask the questions. Does it get white cast? Does it get flaky? No?
No,
Okay.
not
Okay.
at all. That was my selling point.
Yep.
From all it got
No,
me.
because that's the number one question I get anytime we bring
Yeah.
about any brow gels. That's the first question people
Oh
ask.
my gosh, no, blessed. Because I mean, don't get me wrong. I think you have to be strategic with all brow products, like what order you apply them.
That's a good point.
So right, I'll do my skincare, full 30 million step, and then I'll do the brow gel. But
Okay.
then after I'll do my sunscreen and then my face makeup. I go
Oh,
around it because
okay.
if you go and put your foundation and powder on and you try to work that through, you're literally going to move around your makeup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just do it first and I'm able to flick through my NYX Lift and Snatch brow marker and it doesn't move my hair. So
Okay. Good to
no white
know.
cast, no flaky. It's great.
I love it. Okay,
So
so does
good.
it kind of do you feel it on your brows or does it feel pretty like soft?
Feel it. They're
Like a little
definitely
crunchy?
slick. Yeah, but I mean, like,
Okay.
it doesn't, you don't have to rub the crap out of your eyebrows to get it off.
That was gonna be my next
So
question. Okay.
I
That's a
think it
win. That's
really
a
is
win.
like water
Yeah.
soluble.
Okay, I love that.
It breaks down really well because I mean, I'm an oil cleanser person. I use it all the time, but
Yeah.
I could straight up just use water and then like lightly work it in and
That's
it,
my biggest fear as a brow artist is having a product that they're using at home and it's so stiff that they're like and I'm like, "Oh, you're
no.
ripping it
Oh
out."
my gosh, no, literally. And I'd had to tell people to get lamination, like even if they're not using a brow, no, don't scrub the shit out of your eyebrows because you're gonna rip your
Yeah,
hairs out.
literally. There's so
I do not
little.
have this problem. I know, but
Okay,
like little
good to
baby
know.
hairs, get
Another
it,
good sale
try
for that.
it.
Another good reason to get it.
So good. And I think it's cool too because it lasted me like 2.5, almost 3 months, and I didn't replace it. So
That's
that
a good
baby is
longevity.
real
Yeah.
good. It's so good.
I love it. Okay, and then last and final question. What ingredient or ingredients that you're loving right now?
To be honest with you, not really sure. I think I'm really loving a vitamin E just in general. I do put it in my brow oils that I make for my lamination
Oh, okay.
aftercare, and it is a game changer. So I love vitamin E, but I'm also really in love with my mandelic acid that I've been using
Ugh,
in
I
my
love
skincare
mandelic
routine.
acid.
It's so
I
good.
can't live without it.
I had been using retinol, but I think that it was just a little too much for me. I just don't think I'm quite ready to fully commit to a retinol. So mandelic
I
acid gave me
alternate.
that feel, you know?
Yeah, I
So,
alternate between a mandelic and a retinol, but the retinol has been a newer addition. But I'm
okay.
obsessed with mandelic. I really like
It's
it.
so good. I think it's the Hail and Hush. I got it from the girl that does my facial. She's
Ooh,
in my building
okay.
too. It is so
Yeah,
good. It's like gentle, but also festive at the same time. So
yeah.
I really like that one. That's been one of my favorite steps in my skincare routine. So I
I
think those are the
love that.
ones.
Anything to get us to be excited about doing this,
Oh my
the
God.
really like the skincare routine.
I know, I will try my hardest to not fall asleep with my makeup or
Yeah.
something on, but I just dread my 7 steps. Like,
Yeah.
so just a
Completely
double
agree.
cleanse, toner, and moisturizer is all I can do sometimes, but that mandelic acid is
Yeah.
so
Hey,
good.
we're still doing it. At the end of the day, we're
Oh
still
yeah,
doing it. It's still getting
something.
done. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the pod. This was such a lovely
Yeah.
chat. I adore you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having
Um,
me. So fun.
yes, of course. I will have all of Hannah's information in the show notes, especially some links for those products that we just chatted about. I'll give you all the goods. I can't thank her enough. And I will catch you guys all next week. You know where to find us on social media. All of that information will be in the show notes. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And I will catch you next week.